Hello everybody, I am Jedi Jack Penguin and welcome to another LEGO Star Wars review. So today we're going to be looking at set number 75094, Imperial Shuttle Tydirium. This set includes 937 pieces and originally retailed for $99.99 back in June of 2015. Now if you weren't aware, the Imperial Shuttle is one of my favorite ships throughout all of Star Wars. I'm really happy that I was able to get this back in the day. I got it a little bit before it retired actually. It is the only Imperial Shuttle that I own in my collection other than a few odd polybags here and there. As for any versions that I plan to get in the future, I would really love to get that UCS version. It's really one of those white whale sets on my list that I would really love to get someday. But either way, getting right into this and looking at the box art, you get your LEGO Star Wars logo and your trooper up at the top right there representing Star Wars Rebels, which was the big show during the time. Regular stuff off the side, minifigures at the bottom, Disney logo as well. Main picture of the set on Endor, which looks really nice with the Death Star in the background. Really love how that looks. And finally, flipping us over to the back, we get your logos yet again and some of the play features and some action shots off to the side of this set. So yeah, that's all for the box, so let's take a look at the instructions. Looking at the instructions for this set, we pretty much mimic the front of the box with your logos and main picture. You can flip right to the back where we get the Win robot for the time period. You can flip right open where we get some LEGO Club advertisements as well as a look at all of the characters included in this wave, which I actually own quite a few of these other than some of the Star Wars Rebels ones that I would really love to get someday. And speaking of the sets, we have a picture featuring all of the sets, well, minus the retail exclusives that we had during the time period. Out of these, the only other two that I owned and own is the Naboo Starfighter, which I should be reviewing sometime soon, and then we have the Death Star Dueled, which got its recent remake last year in 2020. I don't own the build anymore in my collection, but I still have the minifigures. And then from the page across from that, we get the piece count, and then we get another additional page from the other side of that with your final overall model. So yeah, that's all for the instructions, so let's take a look at our minifigure selection. Looking at our very first minifigure, we have Han Solo in his Endor outfit, which I think this figure turned out really nice. I love the printing on the legs, which are exclusive, as well as the torso printing right there on that olive green, which also works quite well for this figure and some of the other ones that we get in this set. One accessory being the smaller style gun. You can also take a look at the back printing, and we get that regular facial expression that we saw back in the day for Han Solo. Very nice smile from the front, and you can turn that right around to see a more concerned, unhappy look from the back. And we get the regular haircut style piece, which they have since changed on all versions of Han Solo, where we get that newer piece that they introduced, I believe, in the Death Star or within one other set. But really cool to see how far they have come with the designs of Han Solo. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for his minifigure. Looking at our next minifigure, we have Princess Leia in her Endor attire, which I think her character turned out nice as well, where we get this under the neck accessory that has this more camouflage look from both the front and the back. I think that's a really nice piece to get. We also get some printing on her torso. There's a look at the back printing, and you can flip it right up to take a look at the front printing right there for her character. She comes with two accessories, one being the same gun that we get with Han Solo, and then the other one being a Wookiee cookie. Really like getting the legs in that sand blue color, and then the facial expression should be the same one that we saw during the time, where we get a nice smile from the front, and you can turn it right around to see a more unhappy look from the back, and we get a different hair piece for her character, which does fit her for what scene this is from. So yeah, that's all for Princess Leia. And just like any set, no set is complete without a Chewbacca minifigure. This minifigure is not exclusive, also coming within 13 other sets. We get the very nice leg printing that was introduced with this version of Chewbacca, one accessory being the crossbow, that full dark brown look for his minifigure, and then we also get the printing on the overall body for his side bag as well as his face. You can also take a look at the printing continued from the very back, and it fits right on top that mold as a regular minifigure head does. So yeah, that's all for Chewbacca. Now for one of the two remaining minifigures in this set, we have these Rebel Troopers, these Endor Rebel Troopers. Both of these characters seem to have a similar outfit, though have different prints, which I really appreciate that LEGO did do different prints for the torsos and also the facial expressions for these characters. You can take a look at the printing on the legs, which should be the same between the two characters, leading up to the belt piece up to the main torso right there, where we have this more dark tan look, and then we get the arms inside that light bluish gray. The hands are inside more of a tan-ish color. Pretty nice to get just a weird, odd color for the hands, but that's really all that I have to say for that. Back printing for this character. Facial expression gives me Captain Rex vibes, but I know that there was a character in this scene that had a beard, so it makes sense that LEGO decided to include this character. We only should be getting the one facial expression, as you can see, spinning the head around. And then the helmet piece is the same one that we saw introduced back in the day, just with some darker colors with the dual molding, with that dark green and then the dark tan. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for this first Rebel Trooper. And then as I said, for the second Endor Rebel Trooper that we get in the set, we get the same leg printing that we saw with the other character, though we get a different torso print, which I actually really love how this one turned out. I like the olive green all around for the minifigure. Same hands that we get for the other minifigure, though we get this reused facial expression, which is fine. It's nothing to complain about, really. You can take a look at that underneath. And then we get the same mold right there, and you can also just spin them around to take an overall look at the printing styling for this character. So yeah, that's all for our minifigure selection. Now with this being the first ever version of the Imperial Shuttle that I got within my collection, I really love this set. There are a lot of differences compared to newer versions and older versions that we saw of this vehicle, which I can't really talk about because I don't own them in my collection. But as far as the design for this vehicle goes, I think that this is one of the better designs when it comes to the minifigure scale line. So starting with the best part, we have the cockpit, which actually works the way it should. You can lift it up very nice and easily like such, using the connection of the Technic pieces from the very back. Within the cockpit, you get some stickers on those slope pieces to represent the control panels, and you also get some areas to seat your minifigures, so let's place them in there. Bit of a tight fit, but it works in the end, and then you can close it up nice and easily, and there really isn't too many problems with the front of this vehicle compared to the 2021 version, which I've seen a lot of complaints about how the cockpit was handled there, but I think it works nicely. You get a lot of building on the side when it comes to this, especially some building on the side techniques there and just building downwards from that, which is something really nice to see in a set like this. And we get the windshield so you can actually see your characters through there. I'm not sure if Chewbacca actually fits in here. Let me try that. As a figure who's slightly taller, it might be a little harder to fit him in here closing the cockpit. Oh, but what do you know? It actually works. There we go. LEGO actually made a good decision here. Now, moving away from the cockpit, of course, we have one of the best features of this vehicle, those being the wings, which if you don't know how those are connected, we have a lot of Technic connections and gears going on from the very side over here to make all of that work, and I think it works very well in my opinion. It even stops at a point down here where it actually gets to the level where you would want these to stop. So there's a look at the Imperial Shuttle with its wings wide open. I think it looks really nice. It looks better in person than it does on the camera. I'm just trying to get the best shot I can. The buildup of the body is a little bit bulky, but I think it works overall. Also, when it comes to the buildup of these wings, we have these areas over here that feature some pretend guns on these clip piece connections that you can move back and forth. It also works quite well when you actually bring it down here. You have them straight on, unlike when you have it all folded up, where it's more at an angle right there. We also get one of those rapid fire shooters, which if you don't know how that works, there is actually an area within the wing right here. You can see this little area that you want to push down here, and turning this around from the very back and pushing down in that area, it'll shoot it off into the distance, never to be found again unless you can find it over there. And at the time period, with this being a newly introduced feature, we get 2 extras. As expected, we get the same exact thing from the other side, along with some more pretend guns when it actually comes to the face of the vehicle. You can see them right there. And we get another one, clip piece connection for both of those. When it comes to the interior of the vehicle, it is quite hard to actually get into here, but you can lift these panels up on both sides. They're connected using some more of those Technic features. You cannot lift the top of the vehicle off, which is my only real complaint that we actually see when it comes to the newer version, where you can actually bring this all back in the 2021 version, but still you get a decent look, and you can actually put in quite a lot. In here we have some extra accessories, where we have one of these under the neck accessory backpacks, along with one of those regular style guns, where we actually can store the extra one that we get with one of our minifigures in the other clip piece. As someone with big fingers, it's really hard to get that in there, but one thing that I really like is the fact that it is actually connected using a jumper plate piece, so it is quite easy to put back in after you remove it. You also get 2 areas to sit your minifigures from this side, and then from the other side of the vehicle, you get 1 more seat, and you also get this supply crate. Looking at the supply crate real quickly, you can take a look. We get this sticker on this 1x4 tile piece. We use the regular minifigure stand as the closing option for this, which I think is very clever. And we get 2 of these small little bombs that you can place within the Endor bunker that doesn't really exist during this time period because it only released in 2009. Hopefully LEGO does do a remake of that someday, would be really cool. And you also get 2 more extra areas if you want to store the guns that come with Han and Leia, which is really cool that they do include all of these little storage options, so you can close that up nice and easily and place that right back on that jumper plate. And now finally, the last thing that I have to talk about that's in here is this really cool sticker on this panel piece, on this wall element piece from the very back, just showing the details on Endor. I think that looks really cool that they included that in there. And then from the other side, you can just see all of the different Technic pieces used to bring this together and make it as stable as it is. Moving to the very back of the vehicle, you get some more small pretend guns from the very back, very cute. And you also get this really nice tiled off area from the back. I really like that they tiled that off, where we also get the hyperspace stuff going on, the engines from the back. From the very bottom of the vehicle, as expected, you should be able to get these landing gear options, which actually work quite well. Closing up the wings and everything, there's a look at the ship with the landing gear. And then you can bring those in and expand the wings. And that's how that works. And now one other really cool feature that's actually included in here that I was surprised to see is that we have this Technic function right here, that if you lift it down like this, it will bring down your area where you can actually pretend to have your minifigures getting off the ship. It isn't as great as it probably could be because it is a little small, but you can see that we have somewhat of an area to pretend to have your characters coming out of the ship, if you don't want to just pretend that they're coming out of the cockpit by lifting it up like that and plopping them out. And now finally wrapping things up, we get one last sticker on this slope piece, which really isn't necessary, but nice to add some extra detail on that 1x3 slope piece, which is another odd sort of piece to get, but really cool to get in this set. Get some building on the side when it comes to the wings, and then we just build up from there using a lot of these larger triangular slope pieces right up there, and a little bit of mixing between the white and the light gray. And we also see the lights from the top of the main wing and also the sides of these wings, which, you know, are tiled off a little bit. I like that. I know there's a lot of controversy when it comes to studs being exposed or not being exposed when it comes to certain vehicles, but I think that LEGO did a very nice job with this one. So overall, for $100 back in the day, I think that this set was really amazing. The minifigure selection for the time period was perfect, giving you Endor versions of Han and Leia, giving you an extra Chewbacca minifigure if you wanted one, and even 2 other Endor Rebel Troopers. When it comes to the build, I think it's one of the standout versions of the Imperial Shuttle. Yeah, I don't own any of the other ones in my collection, but, you know, it's one of my favorite ships from Star Wars, and I'm happy to actually have this set in my collection. Hopefully one day I'll I'll be able to get that giant UCS version. Really crossing my fingers that will happen someday. Even a remake, I would love that, Lego. Please, please, please listen to me. But yeah, that's really all that I have to say for this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, what your thoughts are on this set. Also remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so every time I upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye!